you are going to be panting on the floor, probably have vomited, but you're going to have a smile on your face. Hello, welcome to this very impromptu intro to a video which I'm going to, I hope, explore some ideas about masculinity, what it is to be a man, and yeah, my take on being a man, I guess. So I haven't put any videos out for a little while. That's because I've been working hard. I've been working my little socks off, trying to get the MCSA, the Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator, working through these books. So a lot of my time has been just spent studying. I'm on a little trip this weekend. It's now Friday. I'm going on a little trip. I'm going on the Rebel Wisdom New Masculinity weekend, which is which I don't know really what it is. I know someone that's gone on it. They haven't told me much about it, which is good because then I can discover it for myself. And I've been on a few Rebel Wisdom events. I've been up to London to their to one of their talks, and I've listened to a load of their podcasts, and I found out about them through Jordan Peterson. Who would have thought it? Because they did quite a good documentary. David Fuller, who used to work for Channel 4, he is one of the key members of Rebel Wisdom, and he did a documentary called A Glitch in the Matrix, looking at Jordan Peterson and new media and old media, and how that is affecting society and the change that it's bringing about. Anyway, I am about to pack. As you can see, I'm not that organised with the old bag for this event. I have just realised I don't have a roll mat or a sleeping bag. That's what I'll do to try. So I'm going to pop down and get them. I'm going to pack, and then I'm going to do a little bit of videoing. I don't think I'll do much when I'm up there. Well, basically because I'll be on the weekend and you kind of immerse yourself in it, I think. And then I'm going to come back and talk all about it, and then release this video, and hopefully that will spark some conversation, or at least I will have released a video that isn't me lifting weights up and down. So hopefully this is interesting. Thanks for watching. So this weekend is all about getting out of your comfort zone, and maybe I'm betraying that a little bit because I've taken a bit of a walk away from the mill where we're staying and where the workshop's taking place, and I'm just to collect my thoughts really, and just talk a little bit about what I've experienced so far. So we're on day one. This is the Rebel Wisdom New Masculinity weekend, and I'm not going to talk about what the exercises that we've done, because I think it's important for people to come and experience it themselves, and for people to and out of respect for the Rebel Wisdom guys, you know, it's their program that they're obviously developing and constantly developing, and I want them to know that I respect that. So I'm not going to talk about the exact and specific things we've done, but in a broad sense, you know, what I've found is that I've really had to let my guard down, and I've really had to drop any barriers, so that I can get the most out of the experience in the weekend. And the guys here are amazing. So the guys here, both the guys running it and the guys that are taking part, and we're all taking part in this together. But the guys and the groups that I've been in have allowed me to drop those barriers. I felt that I trust them, and because of that I've been able to drop my barriers, drop my guard down, and really talk about the issues that are important to me. For me personally, anger is certainly one that I find that since I was a young boy has really taken hold of me and grabbed me with two hands and dragged me places that I don't want to go. And for my son, I don't want him to, and my daughter, but my son, you know, identify as being a little boy, and he's a little boy at the moment. I want to ensure that I'm able to teach him a positive masculinity, but also a positive way to deal with that anger and not to bottle it up.
It's been a very physical course as well, so we've moved around a lot, which I love, because I'm a guy that I love to move. I love to, and not in a traditional sense either. All geared around bringing that inner masculinity out, I guess. That inner, that maybe those things that you've pushed all the way deep down, really working to bring them out, and turning up and being honest and not holding back, because you're not going to get much out of this if you don't hold back. There's been a lot of talk about Jordan Peterson. I think about nearly 80% of the people that I've spoken to have in one way or the other heard about Jordan Peterson. Many have come on this course because they discovered Rebel Wisdom through Jordan Peterson, and I cannot express enough how positive this experience has been. I keep on looking that way because I'm a bit wary of someone just wandering around the corner, but I've got to put up with that, and that's something that I've got to work on, isn't it? But the effect that it's having on me, and the effect that it's having on the other guys that I'm working with, can only be described as positive for the world, because I think when we go away from this weekend, there's going to be 30 guys that are here that have really thought about who they are, how their masculinity and how they embody that affects the world when they go out into it, and how they can be proud of their masculinity, how they can be proud of being men, and proud of all the things that goes with being a man. Power, anger, aggression, all those things, they don't necessarily have to be negative. But I think my personal feeling, and this isn't necessarily the feeling of the group, but my personal feeling is that we push a lot of these traditional things that are thought of as traditionally male. Is that right? Oh, maybe traditionally male things, we push them down, and actually they're things we need to let out. No, they're not traditionally male, they're masculine, and females have a masculine part of them as well. And those, I think, masculine traits, sometimes we push them down and we say that they're a negative thing, and maybe neither females or males feel a reluctancy to show them. But the world isn't all sweet things and nice things, is it? It's a difficult place, and I feel that I'm developing some tools here which are going to enable me to navigate the world in a bit more of a skillful way. I'm going to go back now because we're going to do some more stuff, and it's a great view. It's a great weekend, even though it's November. It's fantastic, and I'll see if I can do another update. But when I get home, I'll do a bit more of a. I'll reflect on it a bit more, and I'll think a little bit more about what we're doing. Thanks for watching. I'm a new man. Well, no, I'm the same. I'm the same man. However, I am the same man with a little bit more insight into my masculinity, how I relate to the world through the masculinity, and also a bit more of an understanding about who I am, and the thought patterns that I engage in and where they come from. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what we did, and then you can, if you watch this, you can judge whether it's something that you'd like to do. Here we go. So day one, Friday, and we arrived at the mill, and it is an absolutely beautiful place. Even though it was November, it was clear skies, the sun was shining throughout the entire weekend pretty much, and it provided a really fantastic location and backdrop for what eventually occurred over the weekend. And I completely see why the guys chose that place, and it must have been very difficult to find a place that had all the pieces that were needed to connect in to the the journey that you go on over this weekend. As we arrived, I was really aware, and I think I said this in the little video that I filmed halfway through the weekend, was that Jordan Peterson's name kept on popping up, and as more and more people arrived, to the venue, his name and the issues that he talks about and the subjects that he talks about, and also obviously the subjects that Rebel Wisdom are highlighting and they're talking about, they really provided a fabric for us all to immediately start having a conversation. And it really was a conversation. Not all views were the same. And that was really refreshing to be able to talk to other men, hear differing views, but it seemed to me that everyone was willing to hear differing views and consider them. But like I said, it was really something to see all these men that were open to ideas, and they were being brought together by Rebel Wisdom, and then obviously a little bit further back from that, they're being brought together by this message that Jordan Peterson is espousing. So that was that was really interesting. As I mentioned in the halfway through video that I did, I'm not going to talk about all the exercises we did. I'm just going to give you my experience and what I went through, because I had I went to that thing that weekend, I think with a bit of arrogance. I went there thinking that I already espouse the new masculinity. I already espouse it. I kind of felt like I was going there to I don't know, to rise to the top of the hierarchy, to be the one to tell, yeah, that was great. He was really good. Jackson was really good. He really talked about his feelings. He talked about the dark. Who talked about their deepest, most feelings? Oh, Jackson was the deepest. And I became aware that I'd gone there with that attitude about halfway through the second day, and it really changed my approach, because as soon as I realised that, I dropped a lot of pretense that I went in there with. So that was a real eye-opener for me, finding that motivation. And I was hiding from that, I think. I was hiding from that thought. It was peeking around a corner, and then I'd run around the corner so that it couldn't find me. And definitely, I definitely went there with an air of arrogance, maybe even superiority. I don't know, but I definitely recognise that. We spent the Saturday, and the Saturday was a very physical day. We had the Wild Man from Norway led us in a physical warm up. We woke up and we had a lovely physical warm up. I really enjoyed it. And then throughout the day, we got into smaller groups. And you stay with this small group, and you build a really great bond with this small group, as well as you do with the larger one. But these men that you build this group with, they really do become a support structure for the weekend. And you also develop a relationship with a buddy. And some of the exercises that we did were very difficult. And as soon as you allow yourself to be supported by the other men, as soon as I allowed myself to be supported by the other men, I found that I was able to be honest, and that was really, really freeing. It really allowed me then to, speak my truth, and that's a phrase that I heard a lot on the weekend, and I was able to express, how I felt, and then that unlocked, that idea that I'd gone there with with an air of arrogance. That helped me to unlock those types of thoughts, emotions, feelings, however you want to describe it. So building those bonds with those other men is very, very, very important. I discovered my shadow this over the weekend, and I was taught, and I was shown how how you identify a shadow, and how your shadow will hide from you. And it's almost, you need to get to know other people that are willing then to talk to you about yourself, to be able to identify that shadow. And the exercises we went through to do that were absolutely fantastic. And you have to commit to them. You have to give yourself to these exercises, and they are, some of them are very physical. Extremely physical. Some of them are sitting and talking and being truthful. And more importantly, some of them are listening and actually listening to other people so that you're able to provide feedback, respond, and also listening to other people so that you can hear sometimes some criticisms, constructive of course, or maybe insights into yourself that because you are so close to who you are, you don't realise that you act a certain way or you're perceived a certain way. Throughout the Saturday we did these exercises, and by the end of that Saturday I was exhausted. I would consider myself a physically able person. I like to move around a lot. I'm a little bit more sedentary these days. However, just due to my job. However, I still maintain a level of fitness and strength. However, the physical side of it was really a tonic. Well, I found it to be a tonic. It's the other side, the speaking, the looking into another man's eyes, the listening and being present and taking care that you're present for yourself and your partner. That's tiring if you're not used to it. Like anything, you need to develop a certain amount of conditioning to be able to keep up with that level of honesty. And it was obvious to me that although I went there with that air of arrogance because I believe that I did that a lot and I did it all the time and I was used to it, I obviously was not as conditioned as I thought I was. So personally, a lot of things came up around my dad. My dad died when I was 10. It was quite a traumatic period of time for me throughout that period because there was lots of other things going on, and just that bit of work on around my dad and my experience was really healing, and it allowed me to, I think, to be completely honest about how I felt about that period of my life, and it also highlighted to me some other things, and I heard back from people after they listened to me, and they really made it very clear that it came across that my mum, who obviously had to look after me and my family and my brothers as we grew up, was really an amazing person, and to do what she did is nothing short of remarkable. So obviously, thank you, Mum. But it was interesting that was reflected back from these other men that had listened to me. So that first day is I found quite exhausting, and there are some rituals that you take part in over the weekend. And I'll be honest, at the end of that first day, when I was thinking about these rituals, because I was so tired, I just noticed this air of frustration and annoyance and irritation. But then I realised that because I had that air of annoyance and irritation, I needed to give myself completely to the rituals that we took part in. And the reason that these rituals are there, they're in the program, and you take part in them, is because rituals are symbolic. And when I was a kid, I used to hate rituals. I used to really dislike Christianity and any religion. I thought it was trite. I thought it was silly. It was obviously for me, not real. And it was obvious. So why take part in this and why do it? And I think it's more nuanced than that. I think it's way more complex. Things are way more complex. They're not just simply black and white. And these rituals, you have to obviously give yourself to them and allow them to work. However, they create this space and an environment where you can move into sort of you can find the archetypal stories in yourself, or you can move into a space where the things that you do while you're within that ritual are extremely meaningful, and they're like planting flags in the ground. So I found them to be really, really helpful. So the Sunday is all about kind of, but I felt it was about really reflecting on what you'd found out on the Saturday, and then moving towards becoming a slightly improved, if that's the right word, or there was different terms used. Somebody said that they'd leveled up, but different, a different you essentially. And there's 2 exercises that you do that are extremely powerful on that day. They're not physical exercises. Again, they're inquiry exercises, and they encourage you to think about you and then also get feedback about yourself. So they were extremely powerful. And in my small group and the people that were in my small group, we joined together in those exercises, I think, just tremendously throughout the throughout the whole weekend. That was when something happened, and we really glued together. And because of the roller coaster that you go on, I think, or the roller coaster I went on, and when I say you in this, I'm really saying I, because this is my experience. I found myself becoming so close. And do you know when you see someone visually and you have that misconception? You have a misconception. You instantly, the voice in your head decides and creates a narrative about the person you've seen. All the people that were in my group, that had happened. That's an automatic thing, and I don't mind that my brain does it, but I'm very aware that it does it. So going through this, gauntlet with these guys. It just tears that down and really shows you that the ideas that you build in your head are not reality, and that a person is so multifaceted. It just hammers that home so much that I just had to take a moment to collect my thoughts there. Yeah, it hammers it home so much, and it realises that you are constantly creating an illusion of the world around you and the people within it. What I really liked about this event was that there was clear demarcation of when things began and ended. The rituals, they begin and they end, and you know when they've begun and ended. And that really helps me, because it helps me to kind of package it up and say, right, that was that point, and I did that then, and it helps to sort of like put a chunk in my mind of what happened. And there's the me before this weekend, and there's the me after, and I can remember the rituals that we took part in. Really helped me to remember the important things that I discovered about myself. So in a nutshell, this weekend, I tried to keep an air of mystery about it, because I think that's important. I don't want to. I want people to go on this. I want men to go on this course, because I think they will get so much out of it, and I think it will help you to at least start the journey of work on yourself if you've never even started. And I've been doing this for quite a long time, I would say. But I really want people to go on this course, and the Rebel Wisdom guys are amazing. So I've tried to keep an air of mystery about it. However, in a nutshell, when you go on this course, you're going to do physical things. You're going to move around physically, and more than that, you are going to move around emotionally. And you're going to move around emotionally. If you move around physically to a point of kind of like of getting up a fairly good sweat, you're going to move around that much physically. If the emotional moving around could be equated to physical, you are going to be panting on the floor, probably have vomited, but you're going to have a smile on your face. And not only that, when you start, it's like you've got to commit to this. You're going to be carrying, like, honestly, your load when you start this course, your mental and emotional load is going to be like some crazy guy with like 100 backpacks. And when you finish, you're going to remove some of them at least. I don't think ever you will remove all, but you will remove some of them. Or you'll at least open them and you'll know what's inside. And that's got to be a good thing. You've got to understand that there's support out there, and it's support that you can access. So I would absolutely highly recommend this course. You're going to work hard. Thank you very much to the Rebel Wisdom team. Thank you to the Wild Man, the Norwegian Wild Man. Thank you to my group. thank you to my buddy, and thank you to the wider group of men for helping me and supporting me, and let me know it's okay to be a man. It's okay to be a man. It's okay to have male traits. They're positive ones. They're needed. And they're needed so that we can join together with our feminine side and our feminine companions, and then we can, really build something strong in a fractured world at the moment. In a very fractured world, we need something that can join us, and I believe that if everybody could do this work, male and female, masculine and feminine, then we'd be we'd be oriented towards, a brighter future. So thank you very much for watching. I don't really know what to say now, so I'll end the video. Nice one. Cheers.